So, what is the reason why 75% of marriages fail here in America? In this video, I'm going to address one of the top reasons as to why marriages fail and end up in dissolve or divorce. And then also talk about some research tips that have helped couples and marriages that we see in psychology, in marriage couples counseling, as well as my experience in having to counsel couples for the 20 years of ministry that I've been helping as a pastor and moving and transitioning into couples counseling. What are the things that have been antidotes? These are just some things that have helped, and I hope it helps you today. My name is Frank DeGracia. I'm a couples counselor and I've been in the ministry for 20 years as a pastor and then now a couples counselor. And so if you've been enjoying my videos, would you please like this video, subscribe if this is something that you've been enjoying and really been adding value to your life, and share this with other friends and family. My goal is to help couples and families. So let's get right into it. What is the biggest reason? What is the main reasons why couples fail in marriage and dissolve in divorce? Well, the biggest thing is this. Here it is. It's a lack of commitment. A lack of commitment. And that lack of commitment can be expressed in a few different ways. Then one of the ways that we see here that couples or husbands show, and I'm speaking to husbands, is as far as why they show this lack of commitment is number one is they get too comfortable in the marriage. They get too comfortable in the relationship. A lot of times when I see couples, I'll ask what the problem is, and I ask more clarification questions. And eventually what happens is the response from the husband would be something to the effect of, I didn't know. I didn't know that was what she was experiencing. I didn't know the depth of what she was going through, what was on her mind, what was causing distance, right? Because the thing is, at times, the husband will get to this place of getting too comfortable, recognizing or assuming, oh, she loves me and I don't have to do all that nice kind stuff, right? All those things that wooed her in early on in the marriage, early on in the relationship, that dating stuff, right? The infatuation. In psychology, we call it the limerence phase, where they both are feeling head over heels, have that butterfly in the stomach kind of things. And so a lot of times the husband will think, oh, she'll be faithful to me no matter what. Yeah, I don't do all those kind of stuff anymore, but she's going to be faithful to me. We're going to be together till death do us part, right? Wrong. The thing is, we cannot, as men, we cannot throw our marriage into first gear and just cruise from the moment on, right? And so we need to always take this approach of having to love her unconditionally. And one of the ways, the antidote to this mindset of, right, she's gonna love me no matter what. She will. I'm pretty sure she will. I'm pretty sure she will. But what we can't do is think we can just throw our marriage into first gear and not have to worry about all the date nights or the flowers and or the cards and all those things. So what's the antidote? Real simple. John Gottman says this: small things matter. Small things matter. It's the small things that you do as a man that really shows love, shows attraction, shows intimacy. It's things like it's things saying like I love you. It's sending the text, I'm thinking about you. It's checking in to see how she's doing. It's the simple hugs, the embraces. It's the 7-second kiss. In fact, research shows that when couples kiss for 7 seconds, it really it kicks up the dopamine chemical in the brain, and couples feel this closeness because of that 7-second kiss. Isn't that amazing? Like, science proves that. That's so cool. And so having to find out the small things, doing the small things, the considerate things. My dad, what he does every 4:30 in the morning, my dad's a morning person. What he does is he wakes up and he massages my mom's feet and hands. Isn't that crazy? My parents been married for over 45 years, and they take the time. My dad takes the time to wake up early in the morning to simply massage her hands and feet. Right. And you may like, that's just over the board. That's like, wow. But that's the kind of stuff that it's a small thing that matters. I know of couples who still do notes for each other. I know of a couple who puts notes like "love you," "enjoy," "made this meal for you," that kind of things. My wife and I, we shoot texts back to each other each and every day, thinking about you, love you, those kinds of things. Again, the small things matter. In fact, drop in the comment box. Write down what are the small things that you have been doing with between you and your couple that you never thought of, and having to hear this stuff, you're like, oh, I never thought that mattered, but I guess I need to do that more often. You absolutely need to. And I would encourage you, drop in the comment, what are the things that you have been doing in, like, it's consider a small thing for your wife, for your girlfriend, that really does matter in the relationship, that means a lot to her. In fact, if you don't know, ask her, what are the small things that I do that has shown I loved you, right? Maybe not necessarily say I love you, but the small things that I do that you appreciate, right? Ask her about those things. And so one of the things that shows lack of commitment is where we as men get too comfortable in the relationship and we think it's all good. We can't take that for granted. And one of the ways, as far as the resources are concerned, is a book, an old classic book, but really is still relevant for today, is the book by Gary Chapman called Love Languages. Love Languages. Now, I come from the standpoint where, because he talks about 5 love languages, I come from the standpoint where we need to do all 5 of those love languages. However, the thing is, our spouse, your wife, has at least one of those. Of the 5, there's one that sticks up the most. She loves, there's the quality time, there's the acts of service, there's the words of affirmation, there's the gifts, there's, the fourth, I always forget the last one, but in those 5, right? And so it's like identifying which of those 5 love languages does she have, right? And then speak that love language. Do the small things in regards to her love language, all right? So pick up that resource. In fact, I'm going to put a link in my bio of all the resources that I recommend to couples, but I also put that book in there. And so just to let you know, when you click on that link and you buy that link, there's a small kickback to me. And so that will help me out in having to push out more videos like this. All right. So don't get comfortable in your marriage. The second thing is where men say, you know what, Frank, I'm not the emotional, touchy feely kissy kind of guy. I'm not. And it's understandably, a lot of men in our culture today are not raised, trained, brought up in that kind of environment where their moms and dads showed them that kind of affection. Therefore, when they get older, they don't know how to be touchy, kind of feely, emotional kind of thing. I want to challenge that, because the reality is, if your wife is that touchy feely kind of gal, then how did she fall in love with you in the first place? Were you that touchy kind of feeling kind of guy in the beginning of the relationship that attracted her to you, that brought you guys close, that you were doing things that she liked and she enjoyed, that she started to desire you, or to the point where now you guys are together and married? I got to challenge that thought, because there were things that you were doing that she was attracted to, that she enjoyed. And then somewhere along the line, this is maybe part of number 1, somewhere along the line, you got too comfortable, and all those things you did to woo her, now you're pulling back from. Maybe you were the kind of touchy-feely, embracey, kind of, flirty kind of guy, and you were saying the I love yous. You were saying all the flirty stuff that won her heart, and you just kind of pulled back from that because now we married and we all good, right? I would challenge that mindset, and really ask yourself, yeah, even though in spite of not being raised in that kind of environment, there are things that I did that did win my wife over, right? Now, the other thing I'd like to challenge you with is, maybe saying like, I don't know how to do what I was not in, going back to the thought, I didn't know how to do it because that's not the environment that I was brought up in. Well, here's the antidote to that. It's real simple. If you don't know, ask her. Right? Ask her the things like, what are the things that you like me to do to show you love? Like, I'm kind of clueless with the whole touchy feely, and maybe I just totally forgot what I did. If you don't know, ask her, and she'll tell you. She may say things like, I love when you hold me. I love when you embrace me. I love when you say this and when you say that. Ask her and then do it. Do it. Just do it as often as you can, as often as possible, right? So that way you cannot play the I don't know card. Now when you ask her, she explicitly tells you, and then do that. And if you don't do it, then we got a problem, right? Maybe that we have to figure out something else, scheduling it. I know of couples where I've advised where they need to schedule sex into their calendar because husband and wife, husband just like totally clueless kind of stuff. And so maybe we have to take it to the next level. You're saying, well, that sounds really unromantic. Well, some couples need that kind of romance planned into the schedule in order for it to have that emotion surging through the relationship again. The third thing that we find in regards to lack of commitment in relationship is when couples have this place where we call contempt. In fact, study shows that when couples have this contemptuous mentality or attitude, there's a 90 to 95% chance of divorce when there's a mindset of contempt. Contempt says, I'm better than you. Contempt says, I'm greater than you. Contempt says, I'm smarter, I'm more prompt, I'm more organized, I'm more cleaner. When you have that mindset of I am greater than you in these areas, then guess what? If you consistently have that and you never get that checked, you never put that mindset in check, there's a greater chance of divorce and dissolvement. And so what needs to happen, the antidote to contempt, according to John Gottman, is this. Dr. John Gottman is show appreciation. Show appreciation. When you have this mindset of appreciation, then what happens is you begin to say, you know what? I recognize there are probably some areas that I am better than her, but I need to also recognize there are areas that she is better than me. Because the thing is this, you are not 100% in every part of life. You may think so, but you're not. I just want to let you know that. You ain't Jesus, you ain't God, you ain't perfect. And there's areas in your life that you need to recognize that she complements your weaknesses, or else God would not have brought her into your life. The Bible talks about in the book of Genesis that God made Eve for Adam to be his helper, to help Adam. Because God knew Adam needed a helper. God knew that. And he brought Eve into his life. And then in the same way too, right? God brought Adam into Eve's life as well. It's where both complement each other. They're helpers, they're partners in crime, so to speak, right? And so having this daily opportunities, finding daily opportunities to thank her for everything and even the small things. Thank you for picking up the kids. Thank you for dinner. I really appreciate it. Doing that kind of daily appreciations begins to diffuse that contemptuous mindset and attitude. And you begin to see like it's not like I'm better than her, but now it's more of a relationship where you see, I need you in my life. I need you in my life because God, I realize God has brought you into my life to make me a better person. And I've met a lot of couples when they realize, man, I'm better than him and I'm better than her and all these kinds of stuff. The marriage just gets, just draws farther apart from each other. And eventually over time, divorce is on its way and dissolvement. And there's nothing to do about that. Only God's intervention at that point. All right. And so what we want is to be able to mitigate this lack of commitment and begin to confront it, because the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. So if we can do something about it now, man, can you imagine when we get stronger marriages, we can get stronger families. And so to increase your relationship with your wife, check out this video, and I want to share more about how to take your relationship to the next level and increase the intimacy between the two of you. All right, check this out and I'll see you there.